This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
Welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I'm your host, Gianna, and special thank you to Yvonne and Zoe because we've had some technical difficulties today. It is Monday, and we're fighting through them, but so far we have high hopes for a good quality episode. And special thank you to Sphere Rocket VA for making this all possible, and welcome you two.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you. I'm excited to have you guys here. So, usually I have everybody, when it's a singular, person, I have them start with where they're from, what market they're in, and how they wound up in real estate. So let's get a little bit of that background together, but also, how the two of you came together as a team.
Sure. Yeah. Sounds good.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I've been in real estate for over 30 years. I worked at the same company for 29 years. At Sutton Group, that's a fairly well-known Canadian company, and I never really moved from there because I realized in the beginning that pretty much all the companies were the same. Until I actually sold a property a couple of years ago, and the realtor on the other end was somebody from EXP, and they after we did the deal, the guy called me up and he said, "Have you heard of EXP before?" And I said, I sort of kind of heard about it, but I didn't really pay that much attention to it. He said, "Why don't we have a coffee and we'll chat about it?" So I went to a coffee with him and he explained the model to me. And I've been a sort of a lone wolf agent my whole career. And I like the fact that EXP allowed you to do whatever you wanted to, or you could, build a team and do other things with it. And I thought, I'll never build a team. It's just going to be me. And I just came over because I'd never heard like the ownership stake that EXP offers. So I came over, and the first year over, I doubled my income, became an icon in the first year. My second year, I became an icon again as a single agent, which is a little tougher to do, from what I hear. I don't know. And then this is just the start of my third year, and I'm lucky enough to have my daughter become a realtor and become a team with me. So now I'm going to maybe start team building. So that's pretty exciting for me.
Absolutely. That's really cool. Team building is a huge, asset that comes with EXP and creating that downline. And, I had an icon agent on the other day that said she makes $8,000 to $9,000 a month off of her downline.
Wow.
Amazing and sustainable. It's awesome. Zoe, what's your story?
Yeah. So I'm actually Van's daughter. And I decided to take the real estate course a couple years ago, and kind of see what it was like, and ended up really, really enjoying, not necessarily the course, but kind of like working alongside my dad and also another team here in Victoria, BC, Canada, where we live, just kind of learning the industry ropes, home prep, staging homes, marketing for homes and condos and stuff like that. So I passed my test in November, and since then I've gotten licensed and I've joined my dad. So that's kind of how I got into it all.
Awesome. So big shoes to fill with dad being an icon, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm
Well, she's going to talk me. She's already sold like 5 houses already. So I'm pretty sure she's
Zoe?
on the way.
Yeah, it's been really busy. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. It's going to be exciting to see, how this team works out. I'm really eager to follow your guys' story. So I guess let's talk about then, how did you find EXP? Zoe, I'm sure you were a little biased and probably slightly recruited by someone. But Yvonne, tell us how you ran into EXP and why you made the jump.
Well, I think I mentioned it already that basically I sold a house with an EXP agent. And afterwards, that agent gave me a call and said, "Hey, have you heard about EXP?" I'd never really heard too much about it. I knew about them, but not much. I had a coffee with him, and then he explained the business model. And that was really the first time I'd ever seen a real estate business model that was different to everybody else's. Because I'd been with another company for 29 years of my career and never changed, because I knew that the one thing in real estate that I find to be true, it's not the company, it's the individual. You can be, in the best company in the world, and if you're not going to put the work in, you're not going to get anything out. So I was happy at my old brokerage, but the one thing I didn't have was ownership. And so when I came over to EXP, the ownership model was what brought me over. And I doubled my income the first year, and the second became an icon. The second year it became an icon again. And this year, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be an icon again after I'm just starting my third year. And the ownership model was really the thing that I was interested in. As a lone wolf agent, that was nice. But now that I'm a couple years in and I'm starting to really understand the situation, I think that team building might be a future for me. I really like how it works and the support that EXP gives to us for that.
Excellent. Absolutely. And Zoe, what drew you to EXP? Because of course, if Dad's doing it, that doesn't mean I have to do it. Did you check out other brokerages first, or were you like EXP all the way?
It was a really easy decision for me. I was definitely EXP all the way from the get-go. That being said, like growing up, I'm 24 years old, so I'm a young woman. But growing up and seeing and just knowing about real estate and the various brokerages through my dad and through just like word of mouth, when EXP became a thing, I was really stoked about how much support they offer virtually and just how technology based everything is. And it's just super cool and unlike any other kind of brick and mortar brokerage that we see. So that was kind of what drew EXP to me, and vice versa. Being kind of a younger Gen Z millennial, having access to technology and all the cool things EXP offers is like a winning point for me.
Absolutely. That's awesome. They are very technologically advanced, and they've got some awesome, like rev share and stock options. And I'm sure you've already gotten a little piece of that pie with your first sale with EXP. So that's
yeah, exactly.
So I would love to know then, what makes both of you say, I am never leaving EXP?
Well, for me, it's the ownership and knowing that I can pass on my ownership stake to Zoe, which is really important for me. And that's a big one for me. And also like the support, plus the model is amazing. I mean, we're expanding all over the world right now. And I've heard other companies, that say that they've got, contacts all over the place, but you're still just an employee at another company. You're not an owner unless you buy a franchise. And what I've seen is EXP allows us to have like a franchise inside our own franchise at no cost inside of EXP. And that's, pretty exciting to me.
Zoe, go ahead.
Yeah. That's a really great question because I'm so new, but just so far based off of all the support that I've been receiving and just having access to, talk to anybody within the company through like the workplace and the resources that they have. I have access to just text with or call my managing broker at any time, and he's always available to answer. And it's just super, super helpful. So I think just the help and support and all the resources is what's going to keep me here with EXP.
Absolutely. And both of you, you stay rather busy, which is great. And you're on this team together. So I'd love to know, where's your work-life balance, right? How do you guys avoid burnout? And I guess in a team situation like this, how do you avoid getting sick of one another?
Well, I think it's too soon for me because Joe's only been a realtor for about a month or just over a month and a half, maybe. So I haven't quite got to that point. But it's nice to be able to hand off stuff to Zoe when I'm busy and know that she can handle it, because she's literally been in real estate her whole life, because I've been a realtor my whole life, or for her whole life. So she knows what comes with the territory. But the other thing too is we have a pretty strong EXP family here in Victoria. There's a lot of other EXP agents, and I think they're all pretty easygoing and willing to help out if we need somebody to cover something for us. So that's been kind of a nice feature I didn't have at my last company, where you're always worried about somebody maybe stealing your business, and I've just not had that here yet.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Nobody's trying to steal your lunch. Everybody wants to share their secrets, and it's really exciting about EXP. Zoe, what about you? How do you make sure that, you're not burned out or getting sick of it? Where's your balance lie?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Again, just because I am so new, and it's been very go, go, go right off the bat. Like, I've just come into a lot of business right away. And that being said, like, I feel like I'm already running into a little bit of burnout. But I think having, one afternoon or like one day of the week where you just have the time to yourself and you turn your phone off, that's really helpful. So for me, it's like a Sunday afternoon, evening. It's a really nice time to just focus on spending time with family and staying in the present and not checking your phone and worrying about what else is going on, even though, business might be happening.
Yeah,
so I think just like scheduling in that time is really important.
I agree. Yvonne, this next one is kind of focused on like the high production, the Icon Award itself. And, Zoe, I think this is going to be a great way to gauge your market compared to other markets. And so, when it comes to Icon Award, where you guys are located and selling, what's that production look like? About how many houses? Where do you cap at? Because obviously it's going to be a little different from selling homes in Alaska to selling homes in Los Angeles, California, right? So we want to gauge that. We don't have to have exact numbers, but we want a good idea. And then Yvonne, also, what did you take away most from the Icon Award? Were you loving the stock benefits? Was it the award itself? Are you excited to go to EXP Con? And most importantly, how did you give back to EXP? Are you a teacher, a mentor? What are you doing?
Well, there's a lot of points there for sure. I think the biggest one was that, like I wasn't sure, because when I got joined in with EXP, they told me about all these things that you could achieve. And I just thought from the very beginning, if I can just get to the Icon, it'll pay for my entire year of, office expenses and whatnot. Because I was at my old company, Sutton Group, for 29 years, and every year you paid in like $10,000 to $20,000 of office fees, and you see nothing back. Whereas in my first year at EXP, I got $16,000 back in stock. So it was like, what? In 1 year? Like my whole year was free. I just like, that was a revelation for me, to understand the value of it. So that was really big. And in Victoria, I'm not saying it's super easy to be an icon, but my production's been pretty steady my entire career. When I got to EXP, for whatever reason, I pretty much doubled my income the first year. And I mean, part of it was due to being an EXP and the technology that's available. But the other part was just that, it was a fresh start. When you join a new company, you're excited. And definitely there's a lot to be excited for. Your first deal, you get a stock award. I mean, you bring somebody in, you get a stock award. And that's yours. When I left Sutton Group after 29 years, the guy said, "Oh, we'll still be here when things don't work out for you." And that's it. I got zero. And after my second year in EXP, I've got over 50 grand of stock that's been given to me, So 2 years in EXP with about $50,000 in stock is just mind blowing. What do you get in any other real estate company after 1 or 2 or 3 years? So effort, yeah, absolutely. Effort in is definitely rewarded. It's rewarded by your income anyway. But now you get your income plus ownership in the company with stock award. I mean, that's just unbelievable. So that's been really a big one for me. And in Victoria, where the average house price, and that's just a mediocre home, is 1.2 million Canadian dollars. It's harder to have the huge, for me anyway, I don't have the huge production. But I think I'm maybe selling $24 million worth of real estate a year, roughly. But mind you, 24 million of real estate is 1.2 for the average house. So, maybe 25 deals or something like that, 26 deals made me an icon. So that's not a huge production, I don't think. I mean, that's just an average, I would say. Some people do a little less, but look, even if I didn't make icon, the income alone is just staggering just from selling real estate. So you can see I'm at my house right now. I'm more or less of a lone wolfer. I've been like that my whole career. I used to have an office at my old company that I went to once a week to pick up my mail. And now I don't have to. Everything's like on the net. It's like virtual. If I need an office, I can go to the local Regis and, talk to my clients. But 9 times out of 10 in most realtors' careers, when do your clients come to the office? You're at their house. You're in the car with them. You're at another listing. I mean, I write offers at listings sometimes, because I'm still old school. I might do it on paper or even electronically. If they like a house, I'm writing the offer right then and there. I'm not, waiting, 2 days to write the offer. So you're not writing the offer in your office. You're doing it right in your, on your computer with the clients. They're part of it that way.
Absolutely. And it's so nice that, EXP has really just embraced the technology era. And when COVID hit and everybody was working from home, they were right back to it, oh, work from home. See you at our same meeting on Tuesday. Like it's happening. The ball's still going to keep rolling and we're still going to be selling houses, which is awesome. And Yvonne, did you choose the mentorship path or did you choose to coach? Are you giving back to EXP World?
Well, it's funny. The first year I was just vetting new icons. And so I just got my second icon award in December.
Okay.
So it's like the first year I joined was in December, and then the second year I got my icon for the second year. So it's just a few months ago, and the icon vetting was no longer available. So I thought, well, what are the things available? And one of them was teaching a class, and I thought, well, what can I teach? I don't know anything. But my daughter said, well, you know how to close, so why don't you teach a class on closing?
True.
And so, or negotiations, because that's my favorite part of real estate anyway. I love negotiating. I love closing. And so I'm just going to talk to people from the hip about what I do to make people win, because we have a lot of multiple offers, and have a very high percentage of winning multiple offers, or just negotiating for either my seller or my buyer clients, whatever is required. I usually get them there.
Absolutely.
And it's a step-by-step, talent or technique that I just do unconsciously, but Zoe's forced me to break it down into like what the items are. So now she's learning the same thing.
That's awesome. And, you are mentoring Zoe here. And that brings me to my next question, right, with newbies. Okay. And Zoe, I want to do a little bit of a spin-off question for you. But Yvonne, when there's new people coming to EXP and they see this big shiny icon award and they're like, man, do I strive for that my first year? But there's also this thing like building a downline. There's also 150 hours of training online. There's also, bettering yourself and finding your niche and doing this and that. Should they even focus on getting the icon award in their first year? Is it even achievable for them? And if so, what are some steps to breaking down that process?
Well, I mean, I think that everybody, the one thing I do love about EXP is that you can work this business how it's comfortable for you. And for me, like, I just wanted to be icon that first year because I knew that it would pay my year's, costs. And I did it, and I thought, well, hey, that's fantastic. But, some people come in and they want to build a team, or they want to build a downline, or they want to, whatever it is. I mean, if you have an interest, a specific interest in your business, I think that EXP is big enough that you can concentrate on what's important to you. Because when I first got here, everybody was telling me, oh, you can build a team, you can do all this stuff. And I thought, I don't want to manage people. I don't want to do that. And so I just did what I did, my lone wolf thing, and it worked out really well. But the funny thing is, along the way, as I was being the lone wolf, I was watching other EXPers building a team. And because I was part of their network, they were showing me how to do it and what they do all the time. And I just started, gaining that belief that, you know what, I can probably do that too. Maybe it won't be as big as theirs, but it'll be a small one. And so, I brought in a couple of realtors. Zoe's on my team. I've got a couple of other sort of lone wolf realtors that are networking on their own. But they're sort of kind of like an informal team because they look to me for mentorship. And I've got some experience over the last 30 years that I can usually help them out with some question or something. And so it's been really nice to know that people appreciate my knowledge. And so like you say, I think whatever's important to that person, you can find a niche in EXP. And once you do, then you start realizing that the world's bigger than whatever your initial interest is. And you can grow in that direction, whether it's team building or whatever. I think that we've got the tools. EXP has the tools to help whichever person's interest is required.
Absolutely. And, Zoe, on that note, as a newbie to EXP, are you going to aspire for the Icon Award in your first year? Sounds like you're hitting the ground running hot, but also, we just talked about how another icon has built $8,000 to $9,000 of passive income a month by focusing on her downline. So as a newbie, where your focus is aligning with, and, what are some little goals you set out to get there?
Yeah, as a newbie, my goal that I set out at the beginning of the year was to do 2 deals a month. Just because I've heard that that's a good average to kind of hold for yourself, to kind of have a good income at the end of the year. And so that's kind of my focus right now, is getting those 2 deals a month under my belt and just getting experience seeing different products. So seeing different houses, condos, townhouses, and just helping different people and getting my name out there. As far as getting like an award or anything like that, that's not really my focus. If it happens, then that's great. But I think it's more so just getting as much experience as possible. So yeah, whether that's selling houses and also taking courses online, and also collaborating with other EXPers here where we live. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
That's awesome. That's great. And, this brings me to my final question to the father-daughter team, to anybody that's out there. Maybe they're listening to this podcast right now. Maybe they find this podcast later. Or maybe, Yvonne, this is you when you first heard of EXP and maybe you didn't make the jump, right? There are people that are sitting on the fence about EXP. They see the greener grass and they're like, man, I don't know if I should make that jump. Because they hear things like, oh, EXP is a cult. Oh, EXP is a pyramid scheme. Oh, EXP is this, EXP is that. So if you could go back to, who you were when you were on that ledge, or maybe talk somebody off that ledge right now, what would you say to them?
Yeah, it's so hard to know exactly what people are thinking. For myself, I'm really analytical, so I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to leave a company that I was happy in for 29 years to do something better. So I researched the heck out of it and made sure that all the stuff that was there made sense. The big thing for me was I had a company that's called 100% House. So when you sell your real estate and you get a $10,000 commission, as an example, it's all yours. And at EXP, there was that 80-20 thing, which is very common, like Remax and Royal LePage and all the companies around here. A lot of them do that. So I was like, hard to go from 100% to 80-20. I'm thinking, why would I do 80-20? That makes no sense. So in my own situation, I just did the math and I said, if I could do 2 more deals a year by being at EXP, that it's like being at 100%, because at 80-20 is only up to about 80K in our market. So once you do 80K of sales, you're at 100% again. But you get stock, you get ownership, you get all this extra resources. The monthly cost to be in EXP is way less than everywhere else. So like the numbers once I crunched the numbers, it was like a no-brainer. I'm coming over. And I know that a lot of people have this thing, I'm not going to pay more. You actually pay less and you get ownership. To me, that was the big one, the ownership model. And you know what? Like I said, after 2 years, I got 50K in EXP stock. If I was still at Sutton Group, I would have, after 2 years more, after 31 years at at Sutton Group, I'd have 0. And in 2 years, I got 50K plus doubled my income. Right. So it's pretty straightforward. Like, people that are wondering, it's this, it's that, people are always saying they're trash talking because they don't know. There's a lot of high end, real estate and EXP agents that brought entire companies over. Why would they do that if it didn't make sense? And that's one of the things I looked at in our, the lady that brought me over, Patricia Katiki. She brought me over into her team, and she's got a really nice upline from her, a mentor that really showed that he's one of the multi-million-dollar per month or per year people in EXP, and Cliff Freeman. And so I just thought, yeah, and I got to speak directly to Cliff before I joined in, and I thought, like, why is that guy talking to me like some nobody real estate agent? But that's just EXP. Everybody's open. Like, nobody's hiding. If you need to talk to somebody for whatever reason, they're always there for you. I mean, try to talk to like the president or the higher ups in Remax or Royal. Forget it. They're not going to have a meeting with you. So to me, that also meant a lot, that people are willing to sit down with you on a Zoom or whatever and talk to you. That instills confidence, because those people have nothing really to gain to talk to somebody who's thinking about joining. Like, ultimately, it's not a big thing for them. But they're team builders. They want to build a business and they understand what it is. And so that's where I started thinking, yeah, maybe I can be more than just a lone wolf agent.
Yeah, absolutely. And Zoe, for any newbies that may be watching right now, they're, probably prospecting a couple different brokerages. Of course, they're being recruited. Everybody goes for the rookies. So, what would you have to say to people that were in your shoes just a few short months ago about EXP and being new?
I would say, if you don't have anybody to look up to in real estate, like if you don't have a mentor already, choosing to go with EXP is probably your best bet, just because of the access that you get to literally anybody within the company who's there to answer and help you with any question, comment, or concern 24/7. Like, that for me just makes it having support. That's, not condescending. That's just super open. I really love that. So that's what I would have to say to those people. Go where you're going to be supported.
Absolutely. Go where you're wanted. Go where, the culture is there and there's room for growth. There's literally no ceiling here at EXP, and to the moon, right?
Exactly.
And Yvonne and Zoe, that's those are all the questions I have for you guys. Is there anything that you'd like to leave the listeners with today?
Well, I mean, it was great that you guys reached out to us. And again, it's part of the EXP, experience. And I appreciate you guys having us on and letting people know about EXP, because I think it's one of those secrets in plain sight. People hear about it. I'd heard about it, but I really didn't know much about it. And once I started studying it, I just realized that, why wouldn't I, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. Well, Zoe, Yvonne, it has been a pleasure having you guys today and getting to know you. And once you figure out, if you're attending shareholders, EXPCon, whatever it is, you shoot me a message and let's get connected.
Sounds good. Thank you, Gianna.
Awesome. Thanks
you both.
A lot.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.